Painting cleanup. Couple tips. Number one, when it's time to clean up your paint, don't take your smock off. Leave it on until you're completely done with everything. Trust me, most of my messes occur during cleanup. Second thing with this drying rack is I think of it as a mouth. You have to open it up and feed it. So when you put your board back on the drying rack, make sure you could see your name. Okay, good. My name's on the outside. And you have to lift it and slide your painting all the way in and make sure that this little black rubber spacer does not pinch your painting. And try to remember where it is to make it easier when you find it tomorrow. All right, next thing, our palette and brushes. Coming over to the sink, we have to wash out our palettes and brushes. And you probably think, okay, that sounds pretty easy. But you might not know how to properly wash a brush. With the palettes that we're using, if you're using a disposable palette, you can either see if somebody else needs it, if it's not the end of the period, or you might have to get rid of it or cover it up. I usually do end up getting rid of it. Next thing, washing your brush. A brush has bristles that are like hair. And I like the analogy of shampooing my brush. And I have a lot of hair. So when I shampoo my hair, I don't just use one hand. I use two hands and shampoo and water. And it's the same thing with your brush. Turn the sink on low. And notice I have nothing underneath the sink first. So just turn on a little bit, make sure you get it right. Doesn't matter if you use hot or cold water. I like warm water, but that's up to you. And then you're going to use two hands. I tend to put a little bit of soap in the cup of one of my hands, so I have a little bit of soap in there. And with my brush, I swirl around, get it nice and soapy, and I keep swirling, and keep swirling, and I keep swirling until the water runs clean. Sometimes I even separate the bristles to make sure everything is out of there. And if you really want to get fancy, I do have these great little cups with bits of soap in it. I usually do this last once my brush is kind of clean. I'll do a second go around, swirl the brush inside of the soap, and then same thing, two hands, two hands, two hands. Clean it, clean it, clean it, clean it. Make sure you get any of the paint off of the handle and the metal. Shut the water off. And then I do one last thing. I kind of squeeze the extra water out, and I make sure to press the bristles together nice, because just like your hair, if it's all crazy when it's wet and it dries that way, it's going to stay that way. And nobody wants to use a brush like that. When you store brushes, you either store them flat. You can store them upright in the container. You'll notice that I have both going on. I have trays with flat brushes, and I do have containers. But never, 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 ever store it upside down like this, because it'll dry that way, and nobody wants to use a brush like that. Okay, I'm drying my hands. Before I throw my paper towels away, I always just make an extra stop at the table, or I look around the sink area, and this paper towel, before I throw it away, I reuse it to just kind of clean up the space around me or the space around other people, and I take care of my studio. Now I'm all set to throw this away, take my smock off, and off I go.